guys, and welcome back to the Hot Tea channel where we spill tea left, right, and everywhere in between. After what seemed like the longest time ever, Tana finally made it onto the BFFs podcast. You might remember the BFFs podcast has been trying to get Tana on the show for some time now. There were months and months of back and forth and Tana not showing up and then cancelling or getting sick or whatever the excuse of the day was. Dave Portnoy actually got pretty irritated by this eventually, and it seemed that Tana's appearance would never be a thing.
Honestly, she's a piece of shit. Everyone knows she's a piece of shit. Like, that's kind of her thing. She fucks everybody. There can't be any human who takes her seriously. You're just a clown. She's a clown. She's no A-list star. She's like a clout chaser.
Tana was even concerned when she showed up to the house that holds the BFF studio.
She's here. I'm shaking. I'm shitting. I'm terrified.
She thought we were actually locking her out, Dave, because I wasn't answering because we were filming. So she thought we were reverse, like pulling the prank back on her, where we invite her to the show and then don't even answer and don't have her on.
Dave actually wasn't even aware that Tana had been reinvited back on the show, but Tana made sure to be on time and fully transparent via text message this time as to show that she's grateful for the reconsideration. Tana took the lecture from Dave after her last cancellation and actually felt that she needed to hear that he thought she was a clout-chasing-clown hooker. That time in her life apparently was a time that she was spreading herself too thin, and she says that she felt honored to have been called out by Portnoy.
Maybe not very healthy, but taking things very seriously and, really trying to, not agree to as much so that I'm not, bailing on anything. And I appreciate you, Portnoy.
Well, you're welcome, Tana. I'm glad to be of service.
I guess it was a sobering moment for Tana, being roasted by Dave Portnoy to such an extreme level. No beef at all between the two of them, as Tana feels like it takes her being yelled at for her to take any form of criticism seriously. Tana has actually been on her best behavior recently, and it could have something to do with the fact that she is going sober for a month. She hasn't been involved in any huge scandals for a while, and she doesn't have any current beef with anyone, but she does still maintain a distaste for one big YouTuber.
I don't like James Charles. I say that sometimes.
Why don't you like him?
Let me get out my scroll.
Oh, it's a big list. Okay.
I've made fun of Austin McBroom. He wasn't my favorite for a while.
Tana also briefly taps into a bit of the drama convo on the podcast, having sat out of two of the prior topics of the day due to her being friends with all the parties involved. She was happy to join in the conversation of Monty Lopez, Addison Rae's dad, though, as Tana has previously made it known that she doesn't think Monty's behavior is appropriate at all.
Okay, so Addison Rae's mom quotes a tweet saying that you can sue your ex for emotional damage. Ultimate clapback. This is Sherry's first real clapback at Monty.
We talking jet money. I'm about to get that shit tattooed on me in another language. She's a G for that. That is, Monty, that is so fucking embarrassing.
The BFFs roped Tana into playing a game where a celeb or influencer couple comes up and they predict if the relationship will last or not. Someone hilariously added this contribution to the rotation.
No.
It's really unshake.
No.
Would y'all have done this one if I wasn't here?
I have a theory. Maybe it's not a theory, it's just a known thing or whatever, but I really think that even though the relationship between Jake Paul and Tana was very clout-chasey and the marriage was a show and all of that, I think that Tana truly loved Jake more than any of the other boyfriends we've ever seen her with. And what's more, I think that she still has feelings for him.
Did you ever miss Jake?
Yeah, do you ever lay in bed and just think about him?
The video she posted the day of the wedding, maybe you guys remember, Tana posted this piece of sort of like poetry, if you will, with just a black screen and words coming across it. It was very deep and meaningful, and it felt genuine to me. I think that Tana was hurt when the relationship had to end, and I bet it still hurts a little when she sees Jake with his girlfriend. That's just my theory, though.
They're obviously very in love, and
Okay.
their posts are very cute.
Just having watched a lot of Tana's content over the years, I reckon that if my theory is correct, we most likely will not see her talking about this unless in a jokey way, somewhat in a way that's like she's brushing it off like she's fine and just being funny.
I don't like speaking on it, like any one of my exes really like new related, because it's just like,
But you
kinda like
were
a
a fake
bias
marriage.
thing.
That marriage is fake, right, Tana?
the marriage, absolutely.
While in the conversation of Tana's love life, Dave asks about her recently telling TMZ Verified about wanting to be married and having kids in the next 5 years. Tana says that she just turned 24, and Kylie Jenner, who's the same age, is already a billionaire and has 2 kids, so Tana seems to be aiming in that direction.
24 is so young, though.
I don't know. My parents growing up were really old, and it made me, I think, want to be a young parent.
Tana reckons that a lot of the concern behind being a young parent might be not being financially stable or not having enough worldly experiences, which is not something that she's concerned about. Though Tana is currently not dating anyone seriously, so it isn't something that's going to happen immediately, she says.
When's the last time you dated somebody who wasn't in your world, who was just like, for lack of better words, like a civilian?
It's been a really long time. I'm kind of trying that right now, that era, though. I think that is it could be good for me.
Tana no longer gets into relationships with the intention to clout farm, apparently, and it seems that she is talking about romantic relationships specifically. I can't help but wonder if that's because she might have been really hurt by the last one. Jake Paul, you see my theory kind of making more sense the more you think about it? A couple of times during this podcast, Josh and Tana both mention a David party, which when asked by Dave what that was, they both confirm it was a David Dobrik party. And for the life of me, I cannot find anything about a recent party hosted by David. There's literally nothing anywhere. So I initially thought maybe they were talking about an older party, as that would make sense. But then Tana said something that made me realize it must have been a recent event, as she was sober and fully says at David's the other day.
At David's the other day, there was every famous person there ever. And I was thinking to myself, I was 18-year-old me would have been freaking thriving right now.
Tana has been hanging out a lot with Jeff Wittick recently, as we know, basically becoming a co-host on his podcast, Jeff FM.
Your canceled podcast, done, right?
We decided to part ways, but I'm now working on a new podcast with Jeff. Maybe Mike, maybe Brooke in the mix there.
We recently talked about how she said that she was a ride or die for Jeff, and that if he has beef with someone, then she does too. And we also brought up David Dobrik while talking about that. But there was still room for possibility that Tana no longer associated with David anymore due to her ever stronger growing relationship with Jeff. But that's all tossed out the window now, apparently, if she's attending full-on David Dobrik events. I wonder if Jeff will ask about it the next time she's on the podcast. We also have Tana and Jeff FM's appearance on the H3 podcast to look forward to. While heavy on this podcast talk, apparently Brooke, Tana's cancelled co-host, tweeted out a while back asking if Barstool was hiring. This actually did get Dave Portnoy's attention, and he reached out to her about a podcast, but he says during this episode that basically it wouldn't ever be a thing now because there was no execution on Brooke's behalf.
I was like, well, send me a demo and I'll listen to it. And that was, 2 months ago. So no demo. So it doesn't matter if it's the greatest demo of all time. It's just as important to show that you really, really want a podcast.
In other news, PewDiePie has landed himself in extremely hot water this week after making fun of a deaf black woman's TikTok video.
At a drive-through, and it has the people where they stand outside and they take your order before you go up to the window. So I pull up and I roll my window down, and this lady,
No, I'm not listening to this.
The internet is mad as fuck at PewDiePie this week after he made a video and featured a TikTok by a user at ScarlettMay1 and made fun of her nails and her voice, as well as using his dog to mock her sign language, allegedly.
Look, she has your crazy nails, man.
So anyway, what I did was I went outside and then I peed and then I pooped a little bit as well, and it was crazy. Sorry, are my nails distracting you guys?
PewDiePie's video, which has over 1.9 million views already, is titled "My Dog Cringes at TikToks," and the comments on that video are actually pretty back and forth, which leads me to believe there might be some sifting and funneling happening, or the internet's really just kind of split on this one. But since the reaction the internet has had, PewDiePie pinned a comment explaining, saying, "Hey, just to clear a few things up, I edited out the clip with the girl that has the long nails. Had no clue she was deaf, but kinda dumb of me not to realize. Still watching through the clip, I only poked fun at her long nails. The voice I did for my dog is the same voice I've given her for years. Edit. And making my dog's paws move was poking at people always dancing or doing some move on TikTok, which is an ongoing theme in the whole video. Anyway, honest mistake, my bad." Because of this recent incident, people are starting to pull some skeletons from the closet and bringing up past racist behavior from PewDiePie, while others are saying that it was a joke and people need to lighten up. The original creator, at ScarlettMay1, obviously did not miss this, as people were tagging her and DMing her constantly about it apparently, making the whole situation unavoidable. So she posted a response.
He chose to watch the video, stop it, and was like, "Oh, her nails are too much," and then he proceeded to mock me doing sign language, which showed he knew I was doing sign. We also knew he knew because as soon as people was calling him out after he posted it, he went back and removed my clip. He didn't remove it, but he put a sound over it so you couldn't see what he was saying about me.
I have to say, the way she handles this is very graceful, and regardless of any opinions on whether PewDiePie is in the wrong or if this was a misinterpreted joke or whatever, the fact is that she was offended but proceeds to deliver a statement without resulting in anything petty or derogatory, and it's a refreshing reaction considering the space that we are in.
Which I feel like made the situation worse. You really could have just like addressed it and been like, my bad, I didn't know she was signing, I just didn't like the nails, and we really would have been fine. But no, you decided to like go back, edit it out, and sweep it under the rug like nothing happened. Baby, it don't work like that over here.
The reaction on Twitter is equally as mixed, with some users saying, I literally don't see a problem with this video. He clearly didn't know what was going on and didn't understand it was sign language. You're reaching a little bit too far. PewDiePie is 32 years old. There is no way in hell he does not know what the fuck sign language is. I know y'all don't think he's that stupid. The Act Man tweeted, PewDiePie is under fire for making fun of a girl's nails and literally nothing else. Twitter really be setting the bar low for cancellation these days. Wait, PewDiePie makes fun of someone's nails and you guys make it about disability and race? PewDiePie isn't ableist, he just wanted to mock a black woman for millions of viewers for having long fingernails and speaking in her natural dialect. It's only racism. PewDiePie is ableist and knew he was opening up the floodgates for his racist incel following. He's a grown man still trying to use misogyny for views. Comments are, of course, open for discussion on this one, you guys, but do not start yelling or getting all crazy down there. It's possible to disagree and be nice to each other. But that is actually going to be it for today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the Hot Tea channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos. For now, enjoy some eye bleach.